Welcome to Two Dudes That Game. We are back. We need to get back on a better schedule, James. We have gotten some time. The holidays are here. Things are getting difficult to keep up with the recordings, but there has not been a lack of content out there and things going on in the gaming world. One of my favorite times of year. New game means new Call of Duty League. It's out there.
I mean,
We had the kickoff.
It's out there.
Oh, it's out there. The kickoff of the opener. So if you guys aren't familiar with the Call of Duty League, most of their tournaments now that we are post, I air quote it, post COVID, we are back to having LAN events. But the kickoff event is normally an online event that doesn't really affect too much. But this one affected a whole lot. There's a lot of things going on here.
It affected the perception of the event. It affected the perception of bringing in new viewers.
It did. I've never seen this. This is the first time that this has kind of really happened. So if you're a Optic fan,
Go Texas.
You probably already know, Texas Optic fan. You probably already know what is going on here. This was the first ever forfeit, like forfeiting a match for something you didn't do wrong, for the other team making a mistake. So
it was weird.
It was definitely weird. Like I had to read it a couple of times on what's going on. So they were playing, I can't remember the exact, was it London Ravens that they were playing at the time? The team doesn't really matter at that point, but so Optic was playing, and
it was 2-2 at a best of 5.
Oh, I'm sorry, it was Minnesota Rocker. So they were playing Minnesota Rocker. It was 2-2. It was best of 5, on a control. So this is actually here's even crazier time. Normally, the Call of Duty League does not play different game modes than what you have in the standard game. But since the game doesn't have all the game modes in it in your normal everyday play, they are playing Control. Control is one of my favorite game modes. And basically what it is you're on an attacking side and a defending side. You have 2 spots on the map that you need to either defend or control. You control it for a certain amount of time, it goes away, you get another minute on the clock to control the other one. But you're not only fighting against the clock, you're fighting against deaths. So every time you die, you lose. So there's 2 ways you can win. You can gain control of both, defend, or 3 ways. If you're attacking, there's 2 ways to win. Gain control of both spots for a certain amount of time, or kill the other team 30 times. And you win. So you get 30 kills, it's gone. The defending team can either defend that spot for the allotted amount of time. So I think it's a minute and a half. Or they can kill the other team 30 times. So whichever happens first for you.
Whichever goes
and
first.
There's 2 spots on the map to be able to do that. It's a best of 5, basically. So first to 3 wins. 3 wins goes to
Yeah, exactly.
So the Minnesota Rocker and Optic Texas are 2-2 going into the 3rd round. During that round, a player, and this is in the final 30 seconds of the game. Like we're talking final 30 seconds of the game here. A teammate member of the Minnesota Rocker uses a kill streak that has been GA'd. So there's a gentleman's agreement to not use the kill streak. The reason for the GA on this particular one, now normally GAs are decided around weapons and weapons that just are not balanced in the game. So the 2 there's a couple that have been GA'd. The AK or the 74U AK has been GA'd. The STB 556 has been GA'd. And smoke grenades have been GA'd. Now, the smoke grenade GA is because of a glitch in the smoke grenades. When you throw them, it's possible for one side on the smoke grenade to be able to see through it and the other side not to be able to see through it. not a very good competitive advantage there. If that happens, it kind of breaks the game.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
game breaking at that point. The other thing that they GA'd was the SEA kill streak. So that's the kill streak that brings in the bomber over top and it sprays down kind of hellfire on top of everybody. You get 3 different locations where you can drop it. So you may have experienced this. I've experienced this problem with the SEA. Says I changed away from using it. When you go into the animation, when it pulls the iPad out of his butt, I don't know where it goes, but he just pulls it out of his butt, and you have this iPad that you're using, it freezes for like 5 seconds. You can't do anything. So your character's stuck for a certain amount of time there, and you can't move. Okay, that's hurting you. It's not hurting the other team, but it's hurting you. So there's an agreement, like, we're just not going to use this. No one's going to use it because, hey guys, we don't want you to not be able to move for 5 seconds, and we get that advantage. It's trying to keep the competitive.
No, I want to point this out. This is not you've got me interested in the CDL for the first time ever, so I'm watching it now. So as a new person, I'm really understanding these GAs are not part of the CDL rule set. The Call of Duty League. Like, they don't... The gentleman's agreements is between the teams and the players. Activision, Call of Duty, Infinity Ward, whoever's running the tournament, it's not their rules, so they don't enforce this stuff.
Nope. They don't enforce it. Now, the referees will enforce these during the games once they agree on them. So there are... If something is used in the game or a GA is broken in the game, it normally results in a forfeit for the team that broke the GA for that game, or if it's like really early in the match. So let's say you load into a match, and again, this is video games. It's easy to misclick when you're trying to move fast or do anything at that point. Or you load into the game and you have a GA'd weapon in. You can just call that right away and be like, "Hey guys, I got a GA'd weapon. Let's restart. Before anything happens, let's restart the game." And 90% of the time they just restart the game. No one has a problem with it, but it normally gets called out right at the beginning. So if you're watching the Call of Duty League, sometimes you'll see a game get started and then immediately the match ends. That's normally because somebody had something on them that was GA'd, somebody glitched, a controller didn't work,
that makes sense.
Setting was wrong. They just stop and
that makes a lot of sense, to be honest.
Yeah, and that's normally how it works. You don't normally get this late in a game, 5 rounds in, and then someone uses a GA thing. So what happened is the Rocker player used the SEA kill streak by accident. Now, here's my question. Why did you have the kill streak equipped? Why did you wait so long into the match? Like, there's so many questions here.
The only question I have is did he pick it up in a care package? So then he was stuck with it in his inventory.
Care packages are banned. You don't. It's not.
So
allowed.
then he had to equip this in his loadout.
So when you go in, so right now you have the CDL playlist. So if you go into the CDL playlist, what you're gonna get is a brand new gun slots that have the rules. So you can't even equip these things because it gives you a little exclamation part by them, and it bans you from using it. So in your kill streaks on the side, you'll only see 2 if you're using a banned one. The SEA one is not the one that's not banned from the CDL, but it's GA, so it's still available to choose for them.
So that person had to actually select it.
They selected that kill streak. So now they use the kill streak, they glitch, Optic wins at the end on a huge comeback. So Optic was losing.
But they were also winning and were going to win before this person even tried to use this kill streak.
They already made a big comeback, and they were already going to win this. You could tell that
there was like 7 seconds left in the match.
And they used this, which gives them a 5-second glitch. And what they did, and it took an hour to debate this. They moved on to the next game, to the phase game afterwards, because this was taking so long. Because you still had a whole nother game mode to play.
Yeah.
Like, they hadn't even finished this wasn't even the deciding thing. It wasn't like this was over, the match was over. They would just lost that round. Or I would say this game was over. The match was not over yet.
Well, I thought that this game gave them a 3-2 win in the best of 5.
No. That's not how it worked. They could have played it back, and it would have been 2-2. and they would have played the other one. Optic forfeited the next game. That's what gave it to them. So they had forfeited the whole thing. They're like, we're done. We're not going to play out anymore. So what ended up happening at the end is it ends on a control. I don't like it ending on control. Like, this is one of the things that I'm not a big fan of is on Respawn games, this happens. So I like when they end on a search and destroy. Normally they end with search and destroy, but since it was best of 5 kickoff weekend, they went with more of a high octane game to get people interested.
Yeah, they're trying to get more viewership, really.
Which was trying to watch this one. So anyway, what ends up happening is he gets glitched out. The glitch happens, and Rocker asks to watch. Like, they're like, no, we used it. We need to stop. Optic thinks they won. Rockers now challenge this. It goes to the referees. The referees don't know what to do. So they're talking about it. So an hour pass. Optic has 2 options. They can forfeit the match completely, forfeit the game, lose the match, or they can replay the entire game again because of someone using a kill streak on the other side of the team that hurt the other side of the team. It's not like it hurt Optic. It hurt the other side of the team from their own mistake. Optic chooses to forfeit because the thing you got to realize, guys, is if they play this back, it's 1 extra game for all of the pros to understand strategy that they're going.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you really kind of have to think of this as more of football than like baseball seasons or things like that. Like, it's a football game. It's a strategy. The more you give your strategy that you're using, the more game film they have to watch because they're recording all this. The teams watch film on their breaks and everything, especially in a Respawn game like Control. They're watching this. Optic did not want to give everyone out there. They didn't want to give FaZe, and anyone, mainly FaZe right now, any other opportunity to see them play. So they forfeit the match. Explain to me where you have ever seen in any sport the team that did not break a rule is forced to forfeit. Like, this has me infuriated.
What I don't like about, like I said, I am just watching the CDL kind of for the first time, and I was super excited about watching. But here's what I don't like, and this is just as a sports fan. The ruling and the decision that they decided to take, this sets a precedent going forward. So what keeps another team from using a GA at the last moment of the game, knowing they're going to lose? It messes up, and then they know that they can appeal it and get because you can't keep you this is the decision you've made, right? So unless they come out and say we got that wrong, yada yada yada, they reverse action. This is what it's going to be like going forward. So now people can use glitches, like set gentleman's agreement. You could have someone on the team that puts something on there in a last ditch effort to replay a game.
Yeah, like I am not a fan of the direction that I think they got it wrong. I hands down feel that the CDL here got this wrong. This was not something that should have been. One, it should have been replayed back because Optic was obviously going to win at this point. Like, there was no, that kill streak was not going to kill enough people to magically flip this in 7 to 8 seconds when it was used. 2, your precedent is completely right. Now everybody's kind of thinking, well, let's just equip that. Like, let's have it in our back pocket to be able to flip this. Or maybe we don't get the break we want right off of a game and we'll just use something real quick. Like, it does set the precedent for that. Now, I'm all for the players getting together and deciding how do we have the most competitive gameplay, even though some of the bans, like, we know there's glitches and stuff. We know there's bans that should have happened. But my question is, like, shouldn't they just bring this in front of the Call of Duty League board, whoever's running the rules, and be like, hey, here's a list of the things we want, and they just put it into the main rule set until glitches are fixed? Like you and I were talking about that. I disagreed with you when you first said it, but then I went back and thought about it. I'm like, hey, James is right here for one of the first times. Like, there should be.
Hey, thanks. Wow.
There
thanks for the backhanded ass compliment.
I worked it in there, but I had to just tweak it just
Yeah,
enough.
yeah, I'm sure.
Um,
You hate admitting when I'm right.
yeah.
Look, you
Sometimes
can't even you can barely look at the
I
camera and
can't
say it
even.
right
I can't.
now.
James, you were correct.
That
They
hurt
should
your
have brought
soul.
this. No, it didn't. No, it didn't.
I can
Trust me.
tell
There's other
Ark
things.
and those guys are going to be like, "Wow, that was painful for you."
They would believe that, yeah, for those guys. But this should have gone in front of like a board beforehand. And now I know it's just the opening series, and I hope that they get this under control and maybe they add it as a rule play or they come up with something. But there's more GA drama.
They're gentlemen's agreements. Listen, as someone, again, I'm going to bring this up. You've got me interested in watching a stupid league. And now it's like, I mean, honestly, I'm a big ice hockey fan, a big football fan. It's like, all right, so if Buffalo and Kansas City get to the fourth quarter in an NFL game, we agree that Mahomes and Allen can't play in the fourth quarter. Like
No,
that's
it's
how
not- it's
that's how
not like
stupid
that.
these
It's not
agreements
game-
are.
it's
No, but
not
I mean
game
that's
to
how
game, though.
that's how stupid they are. They literally take things out of the game, and you're going to talk about it right now. And I'm setting you up for this. They take things out of the game that can affect individual players and their play
Sure.
style.
But this is where well, not necessarily. So here's an interesting thing with the next one is the new GA that is trying to come out that was voted on, that was and it's all voted on. It's majority vote between the teams that barely went through, but did go through, targets one player. Really one player at the end of the day. And it will affect some other ones, but it really was designed around one player. My personal opinion, his personal opinion, and if anybody's watched the Call of Duty League or is a fan of Halo, Formal's opinion. So I trust Formal here because he doesn't have the gag order that all these players have through the CDL that doesn't allow them to say the things they want to say. So Formal is kind of speaking on behalf of Scump, who is Seth is his real name, but speaking out for Scump here, where they GA'd the M4. So the M4,
The most basic weapon
the basic of
in
basic
Call of
weapons,
Duty.
but the M4 currently can be kitted in a way that allows for your main SMG player to run an M4, to run an assault rifle. What ends up having the problem with that, and that's why they banned the STB 556 and the assault rifle, the 74U, is because they play too much like SMGs, but they have the hitting power of an AR, which means in a close-up gunfight, you do not have a chance to win. But here's my thing. If they're all using it, does it matter? Like you're all using the same thing. Like the other agreements are normally around glitches and things like that bug out in the game that could cause an unfair
Like the
advantage
smoke
that happen-
grenade, things like
the
that
smoke
makes
grenade.
sense.
Every once in a while it may happen. But here we're just saying this guy Scump, and I'm gonna say it. Scump's game against Florida after the whole mess with Rocker, Scump was pissed. Scump is right now, him and Crimsix, we can argue those two all day long on who is the best Call of Duty player of all time, but it's one of those two. It's Michael Jordan and LeBron. You know, you're arguing, everyone's arguing who's the best between the two. Who gives a shit? They're both the GOAT of this. Even Crimsix has come out and say, hey, when Scump retires, the Call of Duty League no longer exists. Because Crimsix already out, Scump going out behind him, you have nobody.
Yeah.
There was 105,000 people watching the Optic game. 105,000 people on Twitch. I don't know what YouTube was. But 105,000 people watching for an hour and a half long straight video game. The WNBA had probably 105,000 people watch all of their games combined last year.
That's messed up.
But it's
Why
probably true.
Why you gotta bring them in?
It's probably true.
Why you gotta bring them in? Why you gotta shack
Because
them like that?
that was the lowest.
Why you shacking the fool?
The lowest like thing I could think of attendance and watching. It is online. It's an online video game. When they went to the next game after this, it was down to 3,500. not 1,000, 100 people watching. That's how much Optic pulls. That's how much Scump pulls. So Scump was pissed. He's the GOAT. It's like pissing off Michael Jordan the next game out. You don't do it. Because he came out and wrecked Florida the next, single-handedly beat them. Now Scump was running around with an M4 as a main SMG. He's a main SMG player. He's up in your face. He moves fast. They already got rid of slide canceling, so he's not moving as fast as he used to. It don't matter for Scump. He's adapted to the game. So here he is wrecking it. Next day, we've got a GA that comes out and says, hey, you know what, guys? We probably should ban the M4 too. Yeah, we're going to make this gentleman's agreement to get rid of the M4 100% so Scump does not have to use it. Can't use it in the game.
Just because he's better with it than anyone else in the league.
Yes. And here is an actual quote from him. So Scump went on his stream that night. He was playing, they were streaming, they were getting ready to scrim, and he was talking to Formal about it. And he said, yes, it is GA'd. They GA'd it mid-stage as if it's not my last year. So it's like, you're gonna do this. Scump's already said he's retiring. Like, you're gonna ban this weapon that you know I use so well in my last year. He said, I lost full, bro. I actually found my rhythm and they took it away from me. Like, why are we allowing pro players to use their own biases to create GAs? I don't understand. Teams are changing their decisions after the event. Like, what's going on here, bro? We're a week away from a major. So starting tomorrow, on Friday, 12/9, we have the first major. So after they watched him play, they're like, fuck, we can't beat him with that. So we're going to GA it. I have never seen this. Like, James, I've been watching this for the last 5 years. I have never seen them do this.
I mean, I didn't realize you had a bunch of Karens in this league.
Dude, it's never been this way before. Like, it's normally, hey, here's the things that we know are glitched. Let's GA those things and we'll move on with it. And we'll adjust to the meta as the meta comes. So there's other GAs that come in, like when a scope gets broken or something like that. When a good example was when the sniper scope from Modern Warfare, remember when it showed no glint?
Yeah.
They GA'd that scope for a couple of rounds because that's an unfair advantage. Like, there's no glint. So they GA'd it, and they're like, we don't want to take it out of the game. We're not going to ban it. So we just GA'd it, and then it comes back, and okay, we'll use it again when it's fixed. That's how that's supposed to work. That's them coming together and like managing their own things as men and doing this. But here is now all of a sudden taken to the next level of, you're too good with that, we should do it. So my opinion, here's what should happen. Next year, or hell, start this year, doesn't matter. We can change the rules whenever the fuck we want. You get one loadout. You use this AR, this loadout with this. You don't customize it. You don't do anything. The league provides it to you. You get this SMG loadout. You get this sniper rifle loadout. That's it. Go play. That's the most even you can make it. This is what we're looking for, guys. You don't want anyone to make decisions anymore. That's what the league needs to do.
I mean, that's what these players are going to force the league to do, and that's going to be boring.
Yeah, it's going to be super boring because there's nothing there. Now, it all ends up being meta anyway. You know, everyone was running M4s or that, I can't even pronounce the name of it, but the 9mm gun.
I have a question. I have a question for you. Yeah. When they're playing in CDL, is the game unlocked for them?
What do you mean unlocked?
So they're playing under their name. Are they playing under their profile, like whatever they've unlocked, weapon tuning, or is the game privately and every weapon and tuning and everything is completely opened?
So they get the ability. So it's a private match that has everything unlocked.
Okay.
Minus the rules that they set up for the private match. So you can see, like, if you created.
But like, there's no like one guy that has better attachments for his gun because the other guy doesn't have his unlocked yet.
So even if you go into like the CDL league, CDL list. I don't know if it's working this way now, but the way it worked in Modern Warfare is even if you hadn't unlocked it, you have them unlocked
In that playlist.
Because it's a new set of guns that you have to create. It doesn't transfer over to the other playlist. So in the other playlist, it'd be locked until you would get it. That playlist, it's open for you to be able to use. Just like if you create a private match, you can use stuff before you unlock it if you went and created your own private match anyway. So that being said, a lot of drama around Scump's first game, like first match on retirement season. I hope we get this under control. I hope this isn't what it looks like, because as a true fan of it, I'm not going to be able to watch it if we continue to move forward with this BS. Like play the game, guys. Play the fucking game. Stop crying about it. I hate that. And it's so nice to have like Formal and Crimsix being able to say what they want to say about it, because they're being brutally honest on the things that happened internally to that league and how much it's changed. And they even fired a bunch of their broadcasters and stuff from last year and brought on all new broadcasters, and then they flipped the whole league over. It's not what it used to be, but they might be opening the door for someone else to roll in and do a better production that they have. This is a popular game. You have 100,000 people watching it at any given time. It's big money. You know, they were playing for $500,000 tomorrow. When did you ever think we'd be playing a video game for a first prize of $500K?
Yeah, it's crazy, honestly.
It's insane. It's insane.
But the profits are there, the money's there. It makes sense when you look at the big picture.
And it's also giving gamers like a way to make a living if you're good enough, just like the pros and things like that. You don't have to be a streamer, you don't have to do all that stuff. Now, granted, I do honestly believe Scump and a lot of these guys have lost money because of content creation and what they could do, but they built their name through this. So like these guys are retiring at like 25, 26, 27 years old, and then they have a whole career after it of content creation because they have this fan base.
I mean,
like,
I remember
it's really nice.
I remember PUBG was really putting on really awesome tournaments. Doc was going, Ninja was going, Shroud was going, and it was a lot of fun to watch these tournaments. And then all of a sudden they just stopped going, and finally somebody asked Shroud, and he goes, "It's simple. I lose close to $500,000 every time I go away for a weekend."
Yeah.
He goes, to try to win a tournament that pays me $50,000. Why would I do that?
Yeah, and now we're getting to the point to where the money's worth it. The contracts are worth it. You know, a lot of these guys that are big names, they're pulling in six figures. They get sponsorship deals. Shroud got all his sponsorship deals afterwards, but a lot of his what was it? He was playing Counter-Strike. A lot of his Counter-Strikes was, he has his own mouse line, his own keyboard line, all that kind of stuff. So it's worth it. I hope they get the stuff together. If you're not a fan, tune in, watch a game, watch a little bit. If you want to see how the game's supposed to be played, like 4v4, Call of Duty, bring that back. Like we got this 6v6 chaos that you're used to. When you're playing 4v4, it's not the same. And I understand the CDL playlist has Team Fire on it. It's not for everybody. Like it's definitely not the playlist that a casual player wants to jump into. Because there's a lot of things that you got to kind of have to understand on how to play. S&D is one of them. Like not a lot of people like to play S&D, but it is a competitive game mode. And if you want to see what 4v4 feels like, it's a whole different game.
You know what would be great? You know what would be great if Call of Duty added to their competitive game mode? A fucking ranking system that gave me incentive to play the competitive game mode.
All right, that's my thing today. That's what I wanted to talk about. We could get into the ranking system, and I agree with you, but I don't think we're ever going to get... Well, we're supposed to get that, but I don't think we're going to get that.
Yeah.
So what do you got for
Ops
us
17.
today, James?
It'll be there.
What do you got for us today?
I want to bring in, I love tooting the Xbox horn. I love it. You know me. I love my Game Pass. As we all know, Microsoft and this Activision Blizzard deal is nonstop between them and Sony. And at one point, Microsoft even offered to guarantee that Call of Duty would always be a part of Sony for the next 10 years, which is a long time, which I kind of laughed. Sony scoffed at it and basically said, no, that's not good enough. What cracks me up is that's 2032. For anyone that understands the way console gaming and gaming in general
2032, 2023, you mean?
Sorry. No, 10 years.
Oh, to the game through. I thought you were talking about this
no.
year. I'm like, what are
in
you
10
saying?
years, we're talking 2032, and these execs, especially over at Sony, act like everything's going to be the same. Like, you're crazy if you think Sony's still going to be pumping out God of Wars and Horizon Zero Dawn games and Last of Us games that are console exclusive and they're going to survive. It just you can see it changing. Nintendo's even slowly cracking the door open. It's too much money lost that could be sold to multiple different platforms, especially the more these consoles become more like miniature PCs. So with Sony just being dumb, and we can go all day about how they're acting like little babies and they're fanboys, my God. The next time I see a Sony fanboy post on Twitter about, I got 8 wins in a row on Warzone, but they get to play closed lobbies and they can play console only. They don't have to play crossplay with Xbox and PC. Like, stop bragging about your 300 people queued up in your playlist.
It's the same 300 people.
Over
over
and over because everyone else is playing crossplay with their buddies. So Microsoft took a big swing yesterday and announced that they had struck a deal with Nintendo to guarantee that Call of Duty would be on Switch for the next 10 years or whatever Nintendo thing goes forward.
Yeah, so here's the thing. Like, this was the same deal that was offered to Sony or said to Sony, and it floors me that Sony doesn't understand that in the gaming world, 10 years is a lifetime. We don't even know if Call of Duty is going to be around in 10 years. It could flop.
I mean, like, Battlefield's trying their damnedest to disappear.
Exactly. Like, you have games that are on the top that just completely disappear over a year. And you know what? We're one really bad patch away from Call of Duty being a flop again, of people not wanting to play Warzone, of seeing everyone walk away from the game mode. Like, look at Halo, guys. You don't even have to build a bad game for people to go away. You just have to not give them enough content, and we're too bored with it and we walk away. Like, Halo Infinite is a phenomenal game. Nobody plays it because there's no content. So to think that a 10-year long agreement is not long enough for you, Sony, like, come on, guys. That's an eternity. Like, I would be taking that deal. Like, okay, we got it for 10. So you know what, Sony? You got 10 years to figure out what the fuck the game's going to be that's going to replace that when you don't have it anymore. Let's say you don't have it anymore.
Or you never know. It could have just kept going if they're proving that they're making Microsoft a ton of money.
Yeah, Microsoft, like, and that's the whole thing. This is also, let's do say the Nintendo deal does bank on the Activision deal going through.
Correct, yes.
So, like, the Activision deal has to go through, and Sony is doing its damnedest to make sure that doesn't go through. But it feels like you could just take the 10-year deal, help it go through. Like, this is only helping Sony or Microsoft Blizzard, like, lawsuit here of the merger. Like, this is just helping the merger here because it's like, hey, we're making deals, we're not trying to take it away, and here's the other guy over here that just wants to poke at us so this doesn't happen, when everyone else in the community doesn't care, thinks we're doing the right thing.
I mean, outside of the Sony ponies that will defend Sony till their death, no matter what they do. They could say, starting tomorrow, games are $100, and you'd have a million Sony fans talking about how it's great for gaming that they raised their games to $100 and why it's important and why it's okay that they did it. It just cracks me up. They don't care about the big picture. They just care about trying to be number one at any cost, and it's pointless. I honestly don't understand. Now, the other thing that's interesting is they also announced that this 10-year agreement guarantees that Call of Duty will be on Steam. And as we know, Valve's Gabe Newell come out and said there is no formal agreement. We just trust Microsoft. If they say they're going to continue to support Call of Duty on Steam, that they're going to do it. So I found that super interesting. That shows you right there that Microsoft isn't out there trying to make deals for money. They're just
No.
looking at
Yeah.
a business side and they say, hey, this is doing good on Steam. We're going to continue putting it on Steam. They
But
did
I
it with
also have a
Halo. They did it with
respect-
all their first party stuff.
I also have a respect for Steam now that I didn't have before, of being the guys that come out and say, you know what? Thanks, Microsoft. Like, they could take that deal. So they could easily just take the deal and guarantee it. But they're going to be like, you know what? We don't need to sign any agreement. You guys are doing the right thing. You're going to put the game out on whatever platform is going to be the best platform for your business. We're a platform business. We live it. That's the thing for Steam not to take the deal. They live and die by people buying games off of their platform. So here's a company that's only job is to be a launcher for whatever game. Like, that's what they do. It's a downloader and a launcher for you to play a game that somebody else made. And they're not going to take a deal to guarantee the hottest game in the world is on there. That shows the respect that they feel for Microsoft right
Especially
now.
for a launcher, because Microsoft could have
Yeah.
turned around and signed a deal with Epic.
Oh, do you think Epic's ever going? Epic would never do that. Epic would take the deal.
Oh,
Like,
immediately. Yeah.
Epic would take
Absolutely.
the deal immediately and be like,
And it would make sense
"Go
from
ahead."
Microsoft's standpoint because Epic takes less money.
Yeah, but here's guys that are in the community now building a strong case for this to go through, and really setting Microsoft up to not be the bad guy anymore. Sony's looking like the bad guy again and again and again.
And
You
I
go
mean,
back to-
according to Spencer, even after this deal, he has said Call of Duty will launch on PlayStation as long as there's a PlayStation to ship to. And that, I thought, was a backhanded compliment, basically saying, in my opinion, he's saying,
We're gonna
if you guys
probably
keep this
make you
shit
obsolete.
up, you're not going to have a console to sell to anyone anymore.
No, and at the end of the day, we've already seen the push for cloud gaming, because we've got, Samsung TVs now. You can play video games through the Samsung TV through the cloud. So you're already starting to see this shift in this trend now. I don't know where it's going to go. I don't know how great it's going to be, but I love to see the innovation coming to the space. I love to see that you can get your hands on these games and you don't have to go buy a really expensive console. I just have to go buy my Game Pass that I can afford. I can cancel here and there. So I like the trends that we're seeing. I like what Microsoft is doing. It's very rare that I ever say that because of how much I've hated Windows and all of their other products for so long. And yes, I'm an Xbox fanboy from back in the day, but I started with the Sony PlayStation. I started on PlayStation.
I mean, most
first.
gamers did, for sure.
Well, because PlayStation 1 kind of came out before Xbox really had
Yeah,
anything
absolutely.
to compete with. So you're forced into that. It was that or Nintendo. And at my age, the better games were coming to PlayStation. I still remember the PlayStation 2 actually was the one that I remember the most of, when you put in the first Gran Turismo, and I was like, man, I'm actually driving a car. This is freaking amazing.
Yeah, that
It's
was
so
on the
great.
original PlayStation, because that was the first game I ever
didn't-
played on PlayStation.
I didn't have it on the original
Gran
one.
Turismo 1, but PlayStation 2 launched with Gran Turismo 2.
2, yeah, the 2
And
was
the
the first
graphic
one I ever
upgrade
played.
was ridiculous.
out of this world. And then Xbox One came, or Xbox, not Xbox One, but the first Xbox came out, and you're like, I can play with my friends. What is this?
Now,
This
what
is
about?
so amazing?
I do want to bring this back though. What's your opinion on how important is it that Call of Duty is now going to be on Nintendo?
I honestly don't know if it's that important to Nintendo. I don't know how many, like, I guess it's,
Is it important to? Does it help the game continue to grow from Activision's point of view?
any opportunity to get a game in front of a player helps build the community. Like, if you can get it in front of them, that's what you're looking to
But am
do.
I going to have to play Call of Duty like I had to on the
That's my whole thing. Is like, when you see
on the Wii where I was swinging and
how bad. So here, how bad do you?
I mean,
feel?
granted, I wouldn't mind playing Warzone and just fucking this is the melee button. Like I just swing the Joy-Con controller because I'm hitting the B button out of I need to add
Isn't
it to a
that-
paddle or something. That's just I would just literally run around and just take
Isn't
a
that-
rope
isn't that
and just
kinda-
swing
isn't
this
that
thing
like
around.
an-
My guy's just going to be swinging his arm the whole time.
Isn't that like an oxymoron there? I'm gonna swing the joystick, the
Joy-Con.
the Joy-Con to melee someone to death. Like,
Yeah. Yeah, lots of exercise. Just whipping this thing around like I'm on a horse.
So think about it. How bad are you gonna feel though? Because I know I feel bad when I see the Switch icon on Fortnite and I get killed by someone. How bad are you gonna feel when you see the Switch icon on there and you got killed in Warzone?
I mean, I won't feel bad, just like I don't feel bad in Fortnite because it's probably some 5-year-old that's just better than me.
That's what makes
the
me
only
feel
time
bad.
that makes
like,
me
I'm
upset.
so old now.
The only time that really makes me upset when I get killed by someone in Fortnite and their icon pops up is when a mobile icon pops up. Then I feel like I should just stop playing the game.
That's even worse there. Yeah, I mean, Call of Duty's there. They got the new mobile game out, so mobile integration into like all crossplay might happen. I do remember though, I played with Ark while he was traveling on mobile, and he was mobile and I was playing, and we did really well. Like, shockingly enough, you can definitely play that game on mobile. He plays better on mobile than he does with when he's playing at home.
It's because he has to slow. He can't go as fast.
Well, he has to pay attention.
He has to pay attention. It's a smaller screen.
He's one of those guys. He's laid back on his couch, laying down, like he ain't paying attention. He ain't taking this stuff seriously. Piss me off.
No, we play quads with Arca. It's like playing trios against quads.
He's gonna go get the vehicle and the cash though. Like that's his looting is his game. All right. Well, I don't have anything else.
I do want to bring one other thing up.
Oh, this is a new thing. I don't know about.
No,
this.
I just want to bring up because if you're following to our podcast, right, and maybe you just started to binge them because it's the holiday season, and you're like, oh, let me check out this new podcast, and you start listening or watching a couple, whether you're on audio or YouTube. The last episode we put out, you actually get a soundbite of Ender going, Call of Duty's back, baby. It's here to stay. I'm going to be grinding this game out all the time. And what did you tell me today during lunch?
Dude, I am bored.
One episode later.
That episode's a month later.
It doesn't matter.
There's
for the
3
person
weeks
listening
in
to it,
between.
it could be 15
That's
minutes
true.
ago.
They wouldn't have known that until you brought it up right now.
But I'm just saying that from one episode to the next, you went from Call of Duty's back, baby. I wish I had that soundbite to put in here.
You can grab it. That's fine.
And now you're like, it's bored. I'm over
back.
it.
The multiplayer is back. I
No
didn't
one
say I
cares
was
about the
bored with the
multiplayer.
multiplayer. I understand no one cares about that, but I do. When you see me online, what am I playing 99% of the time?
I don't know. I don't pay attention to that part of that game.
The CDL.
I've already deleted it.
The CDL mosh pit. I'm playing
Saving
that.
space on my PC.
And I only play DMZ and Warzone when you guys are on. It's not like I'll drop it into solos all the time because honestly, I'm bored. It's the same thing over and over and over and over.
So what
again.
can they do to keep you from being bored?
So all the stuff we talked about in the other one that they need to go to do the tuning. Like I'm waiting for that patch. I didn't say I wasn't playing anymore. I said I'm getting bored with it because I really need the tune. So perfect example. We were talking about this, and if you want to get into it, we'll go ahead and get into it. I wasn't expecting this to run this long, but okay, let's go.
We're going to be playing Tarkov in a month.
You open up a can of worms here.
Speaking of, they only have like 20 days left to put Streets out.
I know. The wipe is coming. The wipe is coming. Remember. Where was I going with this? You got me all thinking about Tarkov now. Anyway. Oh, yeah, I know where I was going. DMZ. We were just talking about this, like things that they could do to DMZ. I'm not a fan of the DMZ mode right now. One of the biggest things I like the mode. I think it has potential. But it doesn't give me that gut feeling of I have to do something in it. I have no penalty. There's no penalty in the game. So there's no penalty for even getting downed in the game. So let's say, I down you and I got the animation like Warzone. If the animation runs out and I die, I got to go to the gulag. If I don't win my gulag, which James can't win ever.
I hate it. It's just the dumbest.
No
one goes to the gulag going, I'm excited to kill this guy.
So,
no one.
So I don't win my gulag. I'm out of the game until my teammate can bring me back in. So DMZ, a world that's supposed to be much, I don't even know the word to use, but much grittier, much grindier, difficult, hard, harsh, all of those things that you think it's going to be, because they've been comparing it to the most difficult game I've ever played in my life in Tarkov for a first-person shooter, and they've been comparing it to this. I die, and I fall down, and my thing ends. Guess what? I just gotta wait for you to come revive me anyway, because I can get back up and pick up all my shit. No problem. Just run away. If anyone on your squad dies, just run away, ping the map where they're at, and run away. Wait, and you can come back and up them. There's no penalty for dying. And I'm even like, make it to where when they die, your teammate has to buy you back in like they do in Warzone, and you lose all your stuff. But even just leave it sitting there. If I can parachute down and get it, fine, that's fine. But give me a penalty for dying. My penalty for dying, like squad wiping, is I lose all my stuff. Okay, that sucks sometimes, but you know what? I just have to wait for this timer to run out. And if I jump back in the game, I'm just going to kill a bunch of AI and pick up these contraband guns. It's not really hard for me to get guns anymore. So, okay, there's nothing exciting about the mode. Nothing. You're just staring at me.
I'm just letting you go off. Go on
all
your little rant.
There's nothing exciting about it.
The excitement is listening to you complain when I play.
Well, I mean, if you were better, I wouldn't have to complain as much.
When we play DMZ, it's very one-sided on who's always saving who.
Oh, on DMZ, yeah, because I see AI and I'm like, let's go. Let's start shooting them because I'm bored.
And then I got to come and kill everyone and save you.
I'm so bored. I'm running in there haphazardly because I want to feel some excitement in the game. It's not like in Tarkov.
Thank God I can revive you this way, or you'd never get out of there with anything.
Then I would have more excitement in the game and I wouldn't do it.
I'll just stop picking you up. Then you can feel that.
I have no penalty. That's what's gonna happen. Is just people are just be like, we're gonna GA this, okay, guys? We got a gentleman's agreement in DMZ that no one picks anybody up after they're
no,
down.
just you.
That's how we're playing it.
Just you.
Me?
Yeah,
okay,
just
well,
you. So you can get that. I want you to have that full.
That's
experience.
fine. Everyone else can use the M4, but Scump. Let's call it what it is, and let's go ahead and have that GA. I'm fine with that. If everyone votes, this is democracy. Everyone gets their vote. And we'll see which direction we want to go in, but it's just boring to me that game mode and the battle royale. It's good, like it's good. I'll play it. I'm not happy with the plate system.
To me, the first two biggest changes I would like to see, they'll probably never happen. First of all, get rid of that stupid ass gulag. No more team gulag. I'm done with it. The second thing is get rid of the sniper can't drop somebody with one shot.
But the plate system in general, it's 3 plates, and if you headshot somebody, they should drop. Like they should drop with a sniper rifle. Like you have taken the skill gap of the game, and you have made it so tiny that you're good. Like there's no separation between good and bad players anymore, because you could take a bad player, sit them on top of the roof, like you said earlier, with a sniper and 12 plates in their backpack because they can carry it, and they can sit up there all day long and snipe people, and no one's going to be able to get to them unless you hit the perfect airstrike, the perfect cluster afterwards, mortar strike to kill them. There's nothing you can do. But here we are, 150, 200 yards out, peeking snipers on a roof that are aimed down scope, cracking them. And we know we can't finish them. There's nothing we can do.
It changes.
And here I am, 2v3, 1v3, trying to get my teammates back in. I drop one guy. I go to the next. I crack him. Oh, he's got 3 plates on. Okay, that doesn't work. Boom, I hit the other guy. Oh, he got 3 plates on. It's still 3v1, and I hit 2 perfect shots. And we're not gloating here. I really want people to understand. Like, James and I absolutely understand. We are average to above average Call of Duty players when you're looking at the millions of players out there.
Exactly.
Like, there are so many people better than us. It's not even funny. But we've been doing this long enough to know when we hit an awesome shot, peaking, we should get the benefit from doing that of being a better player. I should not be penalized because the other guy can't do that. You already penalized me enough from skill-based matchmaking. Like, what do you want?
And
What do
what's
you
frustrating,
want?
and I brought this up earlier, what's frustrating, it's not always that I can't one-shot kill someone, is that people are using it as an exploit now because they know they can go in certain places where only a sniper could get them. Top of towers, top of the high-rise. Only a sniper can shoot back at them. And they're taking advantage of the fact that they can stand out in the open, stay hard-scoped, aim down sight, because they know for a fact you can't one-shot them.
Yeah.
And that's to me where it's starting to get out of hand. Now, I'm not saying that I'm also
GA
not.
fixes it. We're
I
asking
understand
right
that I'm
now.
also doing that. Like I noticed it because it's my own mentality. Oh, why am I trying to peek this roof? They can't kill me.
Yeah.
So now
I
we
can
just
stick my head out
stand
anywhere.
up out in the open. The whole
Yeah.
map can see me because I know
Yeah, it
I can
doesn't
take
matter.
one shot before I have to get down.
Or I have to take 17 shots from something. Like, your time to kill with a headshot with a sniper to reload and hit the next shot is like 5 seconds. It's a 5-second time to kill with a sniper rifle if the guy has 3 plates on. That is absolutely insane. When I can drop them with 3 plates in like half a second, if that,
With a Fennec up close.
with a Fennec or an assault rifle or an M4
without hitting any headshots. Just
without
shoot him
hitting
in the
any
leg.
headshots. Because I don't go headshots. I point my gun right at the chest and let the recoil bring me up. My last 2 shots might be a headshot. Might be. And that's me getting a high TTK really fast. But you have taken an entire play style and thrown it away. I'm not the sniper on our team. You are. So I don't get it as much as you do. But I also know when we play duos, one of our biggest things that we do is you will crack them and knock them, and I can push in to finish them. But now that I can't slide cancel, I can't move fast enough. You can't crack them. I can't move it. They're playing it up before I get to them.
I can't even drop them anymore.
No, you
so
can't.
I have to
or
basically change the way
or
I
e-
play.
Even if we went to and you're like you 3 played him and he has no plates, by the time I can push in on him using a Fennec, the gun that makes me move the fastest possible, I still can't close the gap fast enough before he's 3 plated again.
Exactly.
So like you have removed that play style to the point to where you've slowed the game down so much to have that gone. You're making it like a 5-second TTK. It's insane that you can't do that. You can't do that. And that's boring me. The game becomes boring because now it's purely, okay, let me guess the circle. Let me try to get to the highest building in that circle. And I'm going to sit there. I'm just going to sit. I'm going to get as many plates as I can. I'm going to carry a couple of revives with me. I'm going to go find the highest point on the map that I think is going to be in the circle. And I'm going to sit there.
Yeah.
And that's why we're not getting wins right now, because we're refusing to do that. But that is the game style. If we play the old Irons game style of Verdansk, of go get a chopper, land on top of all the tall buildings, no one would be able to do anything. The other thing that is boring me is there's no chance 90% of the time I'm ever going to get my loadout. I'm just not.
Yeah, I was happy they didn't have the loadouts, but it did take away something. People were right.
Keep the loadouts the way they are now, but when they drop, make them drop sporadically again across the map based off of where the players are at, and not in one singular line based off of the randomness of the plane that comes in. Like, I don't understand why. Like, the drop, that was fine. That was fine. No one was complaining about that. They wanted a new good map. You listened to us on that. You gave us a good map, but you broke the other stuff that made it fun. And I look, I don't care about the slide canceling. All these guys talking about the movement's fine. You've just taken away core mechanics like sniper play and being able to get my loadout in the fucking game. Like we can buy my gun But that wasn't what was fun. I like buying my custom loadout that I get. Like, I like having that ability. Like, make it more expensive then. You know, make it 20K for me to buy a loadout, and you only get one. Because right now, not all the items are in stock the whole time you go through. So there's a restocking phase in the game now with all the buy stations. So just make it only one per game that you can get.
And what is the deal with, I mean, if you die after the first circle and then you come back from the gulag, you're screwed basically. There's hardly any contracts.
Yeah, you're done. You're done. You have to hope you're in the gulag with a decent weapon that you can use to kill somebody and steal all their shit. Or you really need to hope you drop on an orange crate to give you any decent gear, because the orange crates definitely give you really good gear out of them. That's truth. Like you get an orange crate, you're like, okay, now I got a 3-plate carrier, you know, normally pops out of there, and some decent gun normally pops out of there. But
yeah, and I really don't like, I don't like the plate system. I remember J God talking about this. I think everyone should just have 3. Even with the armor satchel, there was nothing wrong with the plate system.
No. You try to do things to stuff that were
the least complained about
game.
things in the game.
Yeah, it was, but it's what made your game your game. And if people were complaining about those things, go play Apex, go play PUBG, go play another game. Like, you're trying to be the thing for everybody. And that's where my DMZ mode comes into play. Like, you're trying to be the game mode for everybody. You're trying to have the best multiplayer. You're trying to have the best looter shooter extraction. You're trying to have the best battle royale. Well, guess what? You guys can't maintain all of it because you're not tuning it. And I'm going to leave this with, it's patchable. They can fix it. We'll come back to this conversation most likely next month when we have another one of these podcasts come out, because we probably won't do it for a couple of weeks because of Christmas and all the other craziness that's going to happen. But I just want to leave this with, I agree with you on the fact that there is tuning that needs to be changed. I was happy. I thought we were going to have some fun stuff. A month later of playing it and dropping in, you know, I don't know, 50, 60, 70 times. It's boring. It's boring game. I'm just reiterating things that, like, Dr. Disrespect said. Tim does not look like he's having fun playing the game. It's how he makes money, but he's more happy to be in AT&T Stadium than he is to be playing the game. Doc hates playing the game, but he plays it because people want to watch. You know, so, but if we had like a team that was stacked like those guys and we had all that time to play, like, this would probably be a really fun game, because we'd probably be racking the wins up. Because it's not that complicated, but we just don't have the time to invest to do all of the perfect things you need to do.
Exactly.
I want to be able to pick up the game. I want to be able to play it. I want skill to win out overall. If a guy outskills me and kills me, I'm never upset about it. We've heard it multiple times, and people may think we're bullshitting there, but please watch a stream. When a guy outplays us, we are happy. It's like, holy shit, did you just see that guy finesse the shit out of me? Like, okay, I'm not mad. But when I go up against the guy that's doing the little bunny hop in the game, like, oh, I learned how to bunny hop, and I can't fucking hit him because he's got 3 plates on and I crack, like, that's just fucking annoying as shit. Anyway, I'm done. Are you done?
I'm all set.
You added an extra like 25 minutes to this.
Hey, it's perfect.
I wasn't expected.
Worked out perfect.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Two Dudes That Game. I'm Ender. That's James. He's not very good at gaming. I'm just as bad. We try this, people. Give us a break. We're working on it. We're dads. We're having fun. We like the podcast. Please subscribe. Check out lastchoicenetwork.com for all of our other podcasts that we are extremely behind on, and I apologize to anyone that follows some of those Well, let me rephrase that. The rest of our network is doing a fantastic job of keeping up with their content.
Death on
but
Destination
the
and
owners,
Kinichiha are doing a good
yes,
job.
the owners of the
And
network are doing a
the
horrible job.
614 and beyond also
Yeah.
doing a good job.
So we are not setting a great example for anyone that's on our network right now. But thank you to those guys for keeping up with their content. James and I will work on getting back onto our schedule, but you got a lot of projects going on, a lot of things to manage. We're here, 2 Dudes That Game. Thanks for listening. Good night.